Monterrey, a noted St. Louis area smashburger chain, is downsizing. Details after CBS News.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A beautiful day today with sunshine and a warm afternoon high of 64.
President Trump says Venezuela has agreed to give the U.S. millions of barrels of oil.
And the White House is discussing a range of options for acquiring Greenland, including military force. We'll get into sports at 6:15. The Cardinals acquire a lefty. Blues play tonight. Billikens, big one tonight.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is ready for the U.S. to reap some big financial benefits after Nicolas Maduro's capture. Correspondent Jesse Mitchell has the details.
President Trump announced Venezuela will turn over between 30 and 50 million barrels of, quote, quality sanctioned oil to the U.S. The president says the oil will be sold at market price and that he will control the money to ensure the benefit of the people of Venezuela and the U.S.
President Trump's keeping a close eye on Venezuela's interim president, Darcy Rodriguez. The country's opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, tells CBS's Tony DeCopel her coalition would gladly step in.
Absolutely, yes. And we have a president-elect who is Edmundo González Urrutia, and we are ready and willing to serve our people as we have been mandated.
President Trump is now threatening to take over another country, Greenland, possibly by military force. Heather Conley served in the State Department under President George W. Bush.
Our ally, Denmark and Greenland, now believe that we are the aggressor and are preparing for potential options of what the United States will do.
The Trump administration has launched its biggest crackdown yet on illegal immigration. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has deployed about 2,000 ICE agents to Minneapolis-St. Paul. She tells CBS News.
The American taxpayer is grateful that that resource allocation has been put here. We've never seen this kind of fraudulent and abuse of programs before in recent history.
The Twin Cities are home to a large number of Somali Americans. Noem says ICE is not targeting any specific community. A severe winter storm is messing up travel overseas. Correspondent Vicki Barker is at the foreign desk.
Much of northern Europe is under snow or ice warnings, with roads snarled and trains and planes at a standstill, along with their passengers. At Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris.
I love the snow, but not now.
More than 1,000 people spent the night at Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport, and more wintry weather is forecast.
We've just set a new holiday shopping record here in the U.S. Adobe Analytics' Vivek Pandya.
The 2025 holiday season saw online retail spend reach $257.8 billion. So that was up 6.8% year on year. And it was the first time we saw over $250 billion spent online.
Most of that shopping was done on cell phones. Dow futures up 19. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
It is 6:03, and right now it's 36 degrees with clear skies in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, you heard Jackie Joyner-Kersee talk about how special it is to be an Olympian.
St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer talking with KMOX about the U.S. Figure Skating Championships at Enterprise Center this week.
Mayor Spencer says there are Olympians amongst us.
We'll be able to see them here live in St. Louis.
Spencer says preparations have been underway for months for this event.
I want to commend the entire police department and their team, their extraordinary work that they've done here in advance of this competition to make sure all the fans, the athletes, and our citizens, our residents, have a safe and fun time downtown.
And St. Louis's own Jackie Joyner-Kersee, 3 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze Olympic medals.
From the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Center, our students are going to come, learning what it's like to lace up, the skates and see that blade.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Coming up at 6:22, we'll hear more from Jackie Joyner-Kersee.
St. Louis is expecting the U.S. Figure Skating Championships to bring in more than $28 million for the business community and about $1.2 million in tax revenue for the city. Explore St. Louis's Ed Skapanik says events like this are not just meaningful from an economic development standpoint.
They're also a true source of civic pride for St. Louis, and they showcase what our city does best. There is so much happening downtown right now, and tourism continues to be the tip of the spear with everything we want for St. Louis, supporting jobs, investment, and vitality.
And because of the skating championships being in St. Louis, Winterfest has been extended through the weekend.
Influenza cases are now reported as very high in both Missouri and Illinois. It's a winter surge that is now being seen in nearly 2/3 of the nation. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
Influenza-like illnesses across Missouri increased by about 3,000 during the last week of the year. In Missouri, there have been nearly 9,000 flu cases reported so far this season. WashU infectious diseases specialist Dr. Stephen Lawrence.
It's like you get hit by a truck, high fever, muscle aches, sore throat, cough. That's really how it comes about. We really don't have any evidence that this is any different.
Children in Illinois between the ages of 5 and 17 are seeing the highest impact in the surge in flu cases, which just saw its first pediatric influenza death of the season. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
If you were hoping to skip the mechanic before renewing your tags this year, think again. The state is pushing back on misinformation, claiming that Missouri dropped its vehicle safety inspection requirement on New Year's Day. The Department of Revenue says that is false.
While lawmakers have proposed similar changes in the past, none of them ever became law. Officials are urging drivers to check the official DOR website rather than social media or artificial intelligence.
Can cities in the region bar people from asking for money on the streets? A St. Louis County Circuit judge is expected to issue a ruling on a DePere case later today.
DePere prosecuting attorney Tim Engelmeyer tells KMOX it's a safety issue.
Well, from the city's perspective, it's pretty simple. It's about health, safety, and welfare of folks that are panhandling or using soliciting, as well as drivers that are utilizing the highway.
Attorney Beavis Schock represents Robert Fernandez. Fernandez won a previous federal lawsuit that determined it's unconstitutional to ban panhandling. DePere was among a number of local municipalities that then included charities in their laws.
And of course, in order not to be hypocrites, the city has to prohibit them as well as Robert Fernandez. And it's just it's ridiculous.
Fernandez faces fines for panhandling near West County Center. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
You can hear more from both sides of this issue this morning at 8:11.
It's officially Mardi Gras season in St. Louis. Hundreds gathered in Soulard yesterday for the 12th night celebration. This year's festival theme is Peace, Love, and Mardi Gras. Mayor Spencer says she's thrilled to welcome the annual Mayor's Ball back to City Hall in 2026. And she says special thanks goes out to the Mardi Gras Foundation for offering to donate all proceeds from the ball to ongoing tornado recovery efforts in St. Louis.
From the business desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, the High Point Drive-In announcing Tuesday that 3 of its 9 restaurants have closed. Those locations are Baldwin, Edwardsville, and O'Fallon, Illinois. High Point's owner says employees will be offered jobs at the 6 remaining restaurants. He said the smash burger serving company will be getting back to basics, having better consistency and more focus.
It's 6:08, traffic and weather next.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
With the new IHOP value menu,
$6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10. Let's get a check of the roadways. Roger Brand is joining us right now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're a lot better now than when you were out driving around yesterday evening, Debbie. That's
oh my
for
gosh,
sure.
I was rage tweeting Roger.
It was a busy afternoon. You weren't on the worst highways, thankfully, I guess, because we had a lot of crashes on Highway 70 yesterday. I know you weren't in that area, but this morning we're going to have that same situation. Probably the last thing you dealt was the 44 roadwork between Kings Highway and Grand. They have those right lanes closed. Yesterday, it was supposed to be Monday through Thursday. I didn't notice it Monday. At least I couldn't see the restrictions. But yesterday, we certainly had a backup through there. I would expect more today. And tomorrow's scheduled to be the last day, but with the weather predicted, not sure if they'll do it. But I would expect them to get set up and get going this morning around 8:30, just like they did yesterday. But right now, that is not an issue, obviously. And the rest of the work zones, not enough volume as of yet to see any delays through those. And the rest of the highways don't have any other incidents to cause you any concern so far. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Another beautiful day today with plenty of sunshine. Our high 64. Clouds gradually increase tonight, the low 48. Cloudy, mild tomorrow. Rain at times, particularly in the afternoon. There might be a thunderstorm in spots. It'll become increasingly windy later tomorrow, the high 65. Friday can start with a shower, mainly south and east of the city. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy, and cooler. The high 55 early, then temperature will slowly fall. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti refillable Rambler is here. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to get yours by the home opener on February 21st.
It's 6:12, clear sky, 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. Sports in 3 minutes. St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy has added a second job. The University of Missouri St. Louis announced Tuesday that Tracy has a deal in place through the end of 2028 to serve as an educational consultant. Officials say he'll do workshops with faculty and students within UMSL's Department of Criminology and Criminal Justice.
Tracy's new 3-year employment contract with City Police allows him to do secondary work if approved by the Board of Commissioners. The police chief's salary was cut by $100,000 after the Police Foundation declined to continue contributing that salary bump.
Billions of dollars and hundreds of jobs could soon flow into eastern Missouri's Montgomery County as 2 major data center projects, Amazon's Project Green and the mysterious Project Spade, move closer to reality. Some residents worry about water use. Montgomery County Commissioner Doug Lensing tells Missouri Net this does seem to be a hot-button topic.
Over time, the plan is to utilize retention ponds for rainwater capture to also supplement the water usage. So the load on the aquifer appears to be within a large margin of safety.
If approved, the data centers would span more than 1,700 acres near the I-70 Highway 19 interchange in Montgomery County, bringing an estimated 150 jobs to the region.
As the college football postseason heats up, Missourians are being urged to think twice before placing bets online.
Jack Cardetti with the Sports Betting Alliance says illegal offshore sites are posing as legitimate operators and putting players at risk. He says legal betting sites require age verification and have safeguards designed to protect vulnerable users.
Unfortunately, with the illegal offshore websites, a lot of times that's quite frankly a joke. They don't require sort of the age gating, and quite frankly, if you are to win off one of those websites, a lot of times they don't actually send the winnings out, and then the customer is left with little, if any, recourse.
To avoid scams, Cardetti recommends visiting the Missouri Gaming Commission website, where you'll find a full list of licensed and regulated sports betting operators. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
And in baseball, the Kansas City Royals appear to be staying on the Missouri side of the state line, at least for now. Kansas House Speaker Dan Hawkins confirms the state is no longer pursuing the Royals after they let a funding offer expire on New Year's Eve. While the Chiefs accepted the Star Bond deal 2 weeks ago to move to Kansas, the Royals ignored the deadline.
We put an end to it on December 31. Believe me, I was not kidding when I said that.
The Royals are now deciding between Washington Square Park near Union Station and the East Village near City Hall. Ownership reportedly favors the Union Station site because it sits directly on the KC streetcar line. Back in the day, 1944, the streetcar was in high gear with the Cardinals and the Browns playing each other in St. Louis in the World Series. Cardinals would love to get back to the World Series, but for right now, they are building a roster for the future. And yesterday, they acquired 28-year-old Justin Brule. He is a former Cleveland Guardian. He's bounced around. Originally was signed as a non-drafted free agent by the Dodgers in 2017, stayed with the organization until 2023. So he's been brought up through the Dodgers organization. That is never a bad thing. He's also appeared with the Rockies, Pirates, and Blue Jays, most recently with the Blue Jays, 15 games last year, and he appeared in one postseason game. That was game 2 of the ALDS against the Yankees. His numbers over his career, 2-2 with a 4.72 ERA, tossing 89 2/3 innings pitched with 69 strikeouts and 1 save. The big number is 224. That's what he has held opposing left-handed batters to in terms of a batting average, with only 7 extra base hits total over the 176 batters that he's faced, and just a pair of home runs. So the Cardinals like that lefty-lefty split, and this is a lefty with some experience. If they do indeed trade Jojo Romero, they now have a veteran lefty on their roster. Right-handed pitcher Zach Kent was DFA'd, designated for assignment. The Cardinals acquired Kent off waivers from the Guardians on December 5th. St. Louis University basketball. They have a big game tonight. They'll be taking on VCU. That one starts at 6 o'clock with a 5:45 pregame. The Billikens, the number 1 team in many people's eyes in the Atlantic 10 Conference, but right behind them would be the VCU team that has had their number at the Siegel Center through many years. So we'll continue to watch that, and we'll have it for you on KMOX. 6 o'clock tip for Mizzou at Kentucky in SEC action tonight. And in the OVC last night, SIUE outlasted Lindenwood 66-62. The Blues play tonight. They're on the road taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. It's an 8:30 start for them. And how does Jim Montgomery feel?
Some moments last year, yes. I mean, it's equivalent to it. They're giving us an opportunity. They're battling so hard that it's not a lot this year that I felt we've had puck luck, but against Montreal, I felt we had puck luck because of the way Benner was battling in the crease and the way our guys, even though we may have been beat in a pulled goalie or 5-on-5 situation, the way we return to our net with a vengeance, that kind of stuff, it rewards you. And all of a sudden pucks that bounce off you and go in the net now bounce off you and they go to an area where you can clear your end.
We'll see if he's right. Blues and Blackhawks tonight at the United Center and at Enterprise Center, as we highlighted in the news. It's the U.S. Figure Skating Championship starting tonight. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the audiologycenterstl.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:20, time for traffic and weather. And going to the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center is Roger Brand, who Roger mentioned last time that I was stuck in traffic. I was literally rage texting Roger yesterday while I was making a 2-hour round trip from the city to Creve Coeur and back.
Well, at least we didn't. I remember those days when my kids used to play at Sky South in St. Charles County soccer. So I had to drive all the way out there, 370 and Elm Newtown, and of course their games were at different times. So I remember those long commutes for sports.
I was like,
that's
Roger,
for sure.
what's happening? Why am I sitting here? I'm so angry.
Why don't we still have the helicopter come pick me up? Well, right now there's nothing. Well, there is a little bit of a delay. We're finally seeing some volume, Debbie. Really, interstates are in great shape so far. We do have a little slowdown northbound 55 through Butler Hill, and I do see a bit of a backup now from the Union Road overpass up through to River to Pear. It's also a little busy Loughborough, Holly Hills area, so we're starting to see some delays in the construction zone. Have a stall north 270 north of Dorset, westbound 70 at the exit to northbound 141, but it looks like both of those are on the shoulder. Next update at 6:30 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather also clear, Roger. We're looking at a high today of 64 with sun, 48 for the low tonight. Tomorrow, some rain at times in the afternoon. Could even be a thunderstorm. Windy in the afternoon as well. A high tomorrow of 65 degrees. It's 37 right now.
The news continues at 6:22. The economic effect and benefits of the U.S. Figure Skating Championships being held in St. Louis are significant. It's estimated more than $28 million will be spent this week, and within that, $1.2 million in tax revenue for the city. But there's something else that's a little less tangible.
But not for the athletes who are hoping to make it to Milan to compete in the Olympics and then onto that podium. Jackie Joyner-Kersee knows that feeling, a name synonymous with excellence. Sports Illustrated for Women voted Jackie the greatest female athlete of all time, just ahead of Babe Didrikson-Zaharias. Today, Jackie Joyner-Kersee is a philanthropist in children's education, racial equality, and women's rights. She's the founder of the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Foundation, which encourages young people in East St. Louis to pursue athletics and academics. But at the heart of it all, she's still an athlete.
Because for some, it might be their first time, and some might be their second time being an Olympian. But more importantly, the atmosphere of the fans, the stories that you all are able to tell. You have some people you might not even know of, but being able to share that story, give them the lift to go on and, do something very special. So I know when I competed, it was like I went in, I focused on what I needed to do, but sometimes you need that extra person. So when you got the judges, you got the officials, but then you have their family and friends, and then they have all of us. You make that difference because someone might be very doubtful, But just coming into the stadium and hearing loud claps and cheering them on might boost someone to do something that they didn't even know they had the ability to do. But because being an Olympian and making it and representing Team USA, it is very, very special. And it is a unique group of individuals that's able to go from Olympic hopeful to an Olympian and go on top of the podium. So I would just say that to each and every one of you, be able to share those stories of the athletes, but then also to the people who might not understand what figure skating is. But here you have an opportunity to see the best athletes in the world. We had the Museo Award. Chrissy Yamaguchi was the Stan Museo winner. Tara Lipinski is going to be here. So just different, and Brian Bottano have come to this city to encourage not only the ones that's competing in the single, but then the pairs. So it's a unique family, but more importantly, you are a part of that extended family. You make the difference. You that extra point that they need to go on and represent Team USA.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Tonight, there's a free informational meeting on getting help with applying for the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, or RECA. This is for people impacted by the Manhattan Project. Just Mom's STL co-founder Dawn Chapman says people are receiving misinformation from AI.
Things like, for instance, typing in a question, is renal cancer one of the cancers? Is this cancer? And it's given different information. And sometimes it's saying yes when something is truly not included. And sometimes it's alluding to the fact that it might be different zip codes.
Chapman calls it alarming and is encouraging people to go to the Department of Justice's RECA website. That's where correct information can be found. Tonight from 5 to 8, there's a free informational meeting of the Bridgeton Trails Library branch.
We can help you learn where to go for those documents, and we can also help sit with you and understand the questions on the application and what needs to be filled out.
Chapman says walk-ins are welcome.
Big layoffs reportedly coming for FEMA.
FEMA could be eliminating as many as 1,000 jobs this month. According to the New York Times, these cuts would affect contract workers known as core employees, who play a key role in disaster response and recovery. But the Times also saw a planning document which detailed potential cuts of more than 11,500 more people, which raises big concerns about the agency's ability to respond to future disasters. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
It's 6:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel, the #1 sports book in the United States. And I want to remind you, FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every college playoff game day. So that means more chances to level up your picks, and you can turn big moments into even bigger wins for yourself. So ride with the favorites. Take a shot on an underdog. Build a parlay that is a little more creative, that gives you a chance to play things the way that you want to, and then apply your profit boost and go for bigger winnings. So FanDuel is the best place to get into the football action all playoff long. And when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no delay. There's no waiting period. It's in your account, credited to you instantly. So visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to get your college playoff profit boost today. And remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri to play. An opt-in is required. Bonus is issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions do apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti Refillable Rambler is here. Don't miss your chance to get the only reusable drinkware with exclusive in and out privileges at Energizer Park. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to guarantee you get yours by the home opener on February 21st and join St. Louis City in their mission to reduce waste on match day and every day.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At 6:30, we're looking at a clear sky, 37 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
That's a little busier out there now, Debbie. A few more folks on the highways. Last report, we had some slowdowns, and they're still out there, and a couple others to boot. Northbound 55 between A and McNutt looks a little busy. The right lanes, Butler Hill up to the 270 ramp, and then all lanes from the Union Road overpass running all the way up through Virginia are pretty slow. North 270, you have a good run going until you get up north of Manchester. North of there, the right lanes at least are heavy up through 64, seeing some volume on eastbound Highway 30 at Gravois Bluffs, and from Mauer Industrial up the hill to 270 is just kind of slow right now. Out to the west, the northwest on southbound 61, midway between P and Wentzville Parkway on the crossover to 64 to about Prospect is busy, but after that you look good. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 is a little crowded on the Poplar, but looks like a train crossing in Monsanto, northbound Route 3 is backed up south of Queenie at this time. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Another great day to be out and about. Sunny and 64 for the high today. Increasing clouds, low 48 tonight. Tomorrow we got up to yesterday we got up to 68 degrees. How about that? Tomorrow 65, but there will be some rain in there, especially in the afternoon. A thunderstorm perhaps. Windy in the afternoon tomorrow. Friday, a shower to start the day. Then we start to cool off. A high of 55 early. Temperatures will slowly fall. Currently, it's 36 downtown at the Arch.
A Cedar Hill man is jailed without bond after his arrest and charges filed Tuesday in a stabbing incident. 35-year-old Joshua Plack facing counts of first-degree assault and armed criminal action. Court documents allege Plack used a sword to repeatedly injure a woman early Tuesday inside his Cedar Hill home.
Jefferson County deputies contacted Eureka Police, who found and arrested Plack at a Eureka business. Deputies say he threatened to kill his victim if she didn't leave his home. The victim is said to have non-life-threatening injuries.
St. Louis County Police have released the name of the 19-year-old man shot and killed early Monday morning in Jennings. Stefan Marmon was found in the 2000 block of Switzer. He died at the scene from his injuries. Investigators have not released any other information.
It's the closest you will get to the world's greatest figure skaters without going to Milan for the Olympics. The U.S. Nationals begin today. Mark Schreiber with the St. Louis Sports Commission says it was a quick ice change from blues hockey to figure skating. And then
Sunday, they're doing this naming of the Olympic team show from Enterprise Center. So they have to redo the ice for that as well. So our colleagues at Enterprise Center, as always, have been outstanding.
The U.S. has 3 of the 4 reigning world champions. They're all competing at Enterprise for their spot on the Olympic team. Tickets are still available.
Well, speaking of women on skates, 2 members of the Lindenwood University hockey team have been selected by the France national hockey team for their Olympic squad. Lucy Quarto and Alina Zilio will be heading to Milan. France plays Japan starting February 6th.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:33, your Money Minute next.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish? I never like the bar of soap. What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
It is now 6:35, 5 minutes away from our next check of traffic and weather. But first, let's get you updated on your money report from Bloomberg. It's sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Shares of America's largest credit reporting companies took a hit yesterday after Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte called out the firms for raising prices. Pulte posted on X, quote, "I do not understand what the credit bureaus are doing with their pricing. They're inviting a lot of scrutiny that's only intensifying by the day. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion collect reams of financial and personal data to produce consumer credit files." Checking on your money, the rally that sent the S&P 500 to a record yesterday is losing momentum this morning. Stocks are fluctuating between small gains and losses. S&P futures are down 9 points. Dow futures are little changed. And private equity giant KKR is said to have agreed to acquire sports investor Arctos Partners. Arctos has stakes in a number of NBA teams, including the Golden State Warriors, as well as Major League Baseball teams, including the Dodgers. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It's men's Billikens basketball action tonight. as they face VCU. Pregame 5:45, tip at 6 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
That is a massive game tonight. We'll have a preview in sports at 6:45. It's 6:39. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is freezing billions in federal funds for social services in 5 Democratic-run states, including Illinois. CBS correspondent Allison Keyes.
The cuts include $7 billion for the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program and also billions for the Child Care Development Fund, among others. This after federal child care funding was frozen in Minnesota over fraud, and President Trump calls California more corrupt than Minnesota. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he's blocked over $125 billion in fraud and calls Trump a deranged, habitual liar. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
HHS says it's ensuring that Minnesota, Colorado, New York, Illinois, and California are protecting hard-earned taxpayer dollars.
Illinois Democratic Senators Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin issued a written response that reads in part, quote, by ripping away $10 billion for child care and social services in Illinois and 4 other states, Trump is exacerbating the ongoing child care shortage and cynically picking and choosing which families deserve help. Playing politics and coming after kids simply because they live in states that voted against him is anything but America first.
6:40 in Roger Brand. We can see things picking up in the usual places. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's getting busier out there, Tom. Fortunately, no big problems on the highway system volume, so we have a little bit of a slowdown northbound 55 north of A, about midway up to McKnight. The right lane's a little busy at Butler Hill. It's more of a backup, though, from the Union Road overpass up to Weber, and then it's still slow up through Holly Hills after that. North 270, a little slow past Gravois with the merge on traffic there, then approaching Big Bend to Manchester and approaching Clayton Road up to Ladue. That's all slower. Southbound 61 busier now, approaching Highway P, all the way down onto 64, the Boulevard. Just, again, a lot of volume. Just a slower pace. Eastbound 70, seeing a little backup. It looks like maybe there's an incident near the weigh scales. There's a backup at Forestell midway into that point, but after that, you're good to go. And downtown, we're just a little slow. Westbound 64, let's call it 3rd Street to the Poplar. It looks like that train that was crossing Route 3 at Monsanto is cleared. It's still busy coming up from Queenie, but it's not jammed like it was 10 minutes ago. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At 6:41, it's time to take a look at the forecast. And yes, indeed, it is January 7th. You did not do a Rip Van Winkle and go to sleep and wake up in, I don't know, mid-May. Joe Lundberg, our AccuWeather meteorologist, has more details.
Yeah, our high yesterday of 68, that's akin to what you would see middle of April. That's how mild it was. And our high of 64 today, again, like early April, with lots of sunshine. The clouds will increase tonight, the low in the upper 40s. It'll be cloudy and mild tomorrow, mid-60s. We do expect some rain at times, particularly in the afternoon. There might even be a rumble of thunder. The wind will pick up, and that'll drive temperatures to 65. We'll have some rain showers tomorrow night, and maybe even a rumble of thunder. That'll last into early Friday, and then that'll move quickly east of the city in the wake of a cold front. Clouds will linger. Temperature will actually fall from a high of 55 to start the day toward 50 degrees. Saturday, cloudy to start with maybe a shower, then some breaks of sun in the afternoon. We stay in the mid-40s. And Sunday's going to be the coldest day, only 37 despite more sun than clouds. We do rebound pretty quickly on Monday. Right now, 36 at St. Peter's and in Florissant, clear 38 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 6:42. President Trump is not backing down from his ambition to take control of Greenland, even as European allies push back. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill with more.
We need Greenland from a national security situation.
The White House says President Trump is discussing options for how to acquire the mineral-rich self-governing territory of Denmark, saying utilizing the U.S. military is always an option.
Nothing would lead to the absolute destruction of NATO more than American aggressive action against a long-term ally like Denmark.
So far, Denmark has rejected Trump's proposals, and in a joint statement, European leaders declared Greenland belongs to its people.
The U.S. won't have to intercept oil from Venezuela anymore, according to President Trump. CBS's Jesse Mitchell has details.
President Trump announced Venezuela will turn over between 30 and 50 million barrels of, quote, quality sanctioned oil to the U.S. The president says the oil will be sold at market price and that he will control the money to ensure the benefit of the people of Venezuela and the U.S.
Also in the news this morning, as we take a look at the Justice Department, they say the man who killed 2 students at Brown University and an MIT professor confessed to the crimes in video recordings. 48-year-old Claudia Neves Valente was found dead in a New Hampshire storage facility afterward. CBS News Boston reporter Julie McDonald.
Survivor Jacob Spears was shot in the back as bullets fired through the engineering building that night.
Muhammad, he was my friend. Like, that was my friend, right? So, like, reading it, I tried to keep him out of my mind because I knew that'd make it even harder, but I couldn't.
Students Ella Cook and Muhammad Aziz Umarzakov were killed. Neves Valente did not reveal a motive for the campus shooting, nor for the murder of the Brookline MIT professor with whom he'd attended school in Portugal.
First-time home buyers keeping a close eye on mortgage rates in 2026. A number of experts are predicting we could see a drop in interest rates.
The forecast for mortgage interest rates is uncertain.
It's not necessarily going to be a straight line for mortgage rates in 2026.
There are a number of different factors at play, including inflation trends and consumer confidence, says Ted Rossman, senior industry analyst with Bankrate.
So I could see rates moving kind of symmetrically, a little above 6, a little below 6, probably averaging around 6% across the year.
Home sales were at historic lows last year.
I think there's going to be times during the year that the wind blows one way, times that it blows the other. There may be an economic growth scare that pushes mortgage rates to the lowest point we've seen in years, and maybe they go as low as about 5.5%.
That's Odyssey's Jennifer Hodges reporting.
All right, it's time to get after it. The St. Louis Billikens with their biggest test to date, their first true road game. Yes, they played a true road game at Loyola Marymount, but I watched it. It looked like there were about 100 people there. There will be 8,000 packed into the Siegel Center tonight at VCU, where SLU has never won. Not one time in 10 tries. Now, St. Louis, we've talked a ton about Josh Schertz and his disgruntlement with the defense in a 102-79 win over St. Joseph's on New Year's Eve, but you can't ignore this offense. This offense is a top 15 offense nationally, averaging 91 points per game. Take a listen.
Thames on the right wing. Thames crossover in the paint. Kick out. Robbie trailing. Bang! He got it. Thames to Aguilar.
Just kill him with the push. Robbie just saunters up court and with the trail.
They know to find the trailer, don't they?
Yes, they do.
When it's Robbie.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, what's really fun about that for me is it is a thing, and I can see why when he's out there and trailing the play, it creates quite a conundrum for a defender, especially if it's a big guarding him. I got to protect the rim, and he's out there 25 feet away. Yep. If I go get in his face, he's going to find somebody open, and nobody's there to protect the rim, and it's got to drive opposing coaches crazy.
Yeah, well, you know, transition is, you know, you're always hunting, you know, advantages, creating advantages, and transition's a great way to do it. When the ball's coming up in Kellen Thames' hands, you know, he's so good. We say, you know, we call it punching gaps, where, like, you know, you're driving, the floor is open, and you're, you know, getting your shoulders by and getting the ball in these seams. And, you know, and because Robbie's usually not there, you know, he's running behind the play. You know, his guy is taught to, which we teach all our bigs, is to get to the ball and try to, like, load up and make sure that this guy can't get in there.
Josh Schertz, head coach of the Billikens, his team will be playing at VCU tonight, a matchup for perhaps the top 2 teams in the league. 6 o'clock tip, 5:45 pregame right here on KMOX. Also on the schedule, Mizzou at Kentucky. ESPN2 will have that one tonight at 6 o'clock. SIUE at UIC at 7. Illinois State at Valpo at 7. Missouri State at Kennesaw State starts things off at 6 o'clock tonight. Lindenwood lost at SIUE last night. The Cougars got them 66-62. The Blues play tonight, an 8:30 start in Chicago against the Blackhawks at their home Enterprise Center. The U.S. Figure Skating Championships get going this evening. The Cardinals acquired lefty Justin Brule from the Cleveland Guardians for cash considerations. We'll tell you more about the 28-year-old reliever coming up at 7:15. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is now 6:50, and we need to check the roadways and the weather as well. Roger Brand is joining us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, just more folks on the highways, Debbie, but no problems. Just busier runs. If you're on northbound 55, it's a little slow at 67. It backs up from the Union Road over past Weber and then slow up to about Holly Hills. Northbound 270, some slow stuff approaching Gravois toward 44. North of Big Bend up to Manchester and a little busy at 64. Eastbound Highway 70 is just kind of slow at Highway A. Southbound 61, midway down from P to Wentzville Parkway on the 64 to the Boulevard's busy. It looks like we have an incident, stall or a crash just east of Lindbergh and around Clayton Warson. South 170, a little slow from Brentwood to the U Club Tower. And downtown westbound 64, west of 3rd Street to the Poplars, busier. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Are they fast?
My darling, Jerry Kelly can install a new furnace tomorrow, no matter what day tomorrow is, even if we call late at night.
You are my hero.
They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Weather forecast, it is looking good for today. Sunny and warm and a high of 64 degrees. Clouds low 48 tonight. Tomorrow, cloudy, balmy, rain at times, especially in the afternoon. A high of 65 degrees. Could even be a thunderstorm tomorrow. Friday, a shower in the area to start. Then we go from a high of 55 down into the 40s. It'll stay that way through the weekend. In fact, it's going to be chilly on Sunday with a high of only 37. So where we are right now, clear and 37 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. Mardi Gras season is officially underway in St. Louis. Hundreds gathered in Soulard yesterday for the 12th night celebration. This year's festival theme is Peace, Love, and Mardi Gras.
Mayor Kara Spencer says she's thrilled to welcome the annual Mayor's Ball back to City Hall in 2026. And she says special thanks goes out to the Mardi Gras Foundation for offering to donate all proceeds from the ball to ongoing tornado recovery efforts in St. Louis. And congratulations are in order to Bill Seedoff. He is the Rex, the new king of Mardi Gras. That
He's
was bestowed
everywhere
upon him yesterday. Great friend of ours. career highlighted by a 13-year tenure as the City of St. Louis Director of Human Services.
Yes, and now a great contributor to nonprofit causes all across the region. This is now the worst flu season in more than 25 years. I personally know so many people who have been out sick. It's true. And it's not even at its peak yet. The CDC says that we haven't had this many suspected flu cases since 1997. As we've been reporting, they're calling this strain subclade K, or just super flu, which appears to be more potent and spreading faster than the regular flu. We'll have more details on this from KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer after the news at the top of the hour.
It's 6:54. Astronomers have discovered a never-before-seen celestial object, and it is being called Cloud 9.
Researchers hope the discovery will help them learn more about the formation of galaxies and the development of the early universe. The starless, gas-rich, dark matter hydrogen cloud is a remnant of the universe's early formation. Scientists have theorized that such an object exists, but this is the first confirmation that it's out there. They say Cloud 9 is a primordial building block of a galaxy that hasn't formed, but it may continue to change and could even grow into a galaxy if it continues to expand. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
How about robots? So far, one of the biggest things at this year's Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, which now just gets called the CES, is AI robots that can learn everything from unboxing to kickboxing. LG just unveiled a new robot butler that can fold laundry, walk the dog, and pick up food.
A Chinese company made a kung fu robot that can kick your butt. And Google and Boston Dynamics just teamed up to make humanoid robots that can operate in any weather, change their own battery, and use their AI to teach other robots how to be self-sufficient. Why does that scare me?
I don't know, because we've seen this movie when the robots take over.
I know. And I've seen these Boston Dynamics videos, and these robots kind of freak me out.
Here's the other thing I just wanted to mention. This morning, we've had two separate stories, one from Don Chapman and one from the Department of Revenue, telling people that they're getting incorrect information from AI. So here's the thing. If you've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, when you Google something, it used to be you'd Google and all these different websites would pop up that you could go to. But now at the top, there's just sort of a summary. And that is basically AI summarizing what it thinks is the pertinent information from a bunch of websites, but you don't know that it's accurate. So if you're Googling and you're basing your opinion or whatever on that little summary, be careful, because that's just AI pulling things from websites that may or may not be true.
I've had some people text me, like last week, I got a text from somebody who said, "Hey man, happy birthday." I'm like, my birthday's in July. It's like, oh, I saw it on the internet. I thought it was your birthday. See?
Oh, I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Well, the birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. If you have a January birthday, I saw somebody posting, I have a January birthday, and they hate having their birthday in January because it's dark early, everybody's broke, and no one wants to go out and celebrate. So if that's you, I'm sorry. But if you would like your birthday announced during this segment, email it to totalam@KMOX.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Amy Waymeyer and also Karen Simmons from the O'Donnell family.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Experience a celebration of movement and music as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis Dance Theater join together for Stravinsky and Debussy Music and Motion. This adventurous collaboration reimagines Stravinsky's Pulcinella Suite in an entirely new way that celebrates powerful partnerships between dance and music. January 10th and 11th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Well, traffic on northbound Highway 55 is backed up from the Union Road overpass. It's slow all the way to Holly Hills, north 270, Sappington Road overpass through Gravelly, north of 44 up to Manchester and approaching 64. There are some heavy pockets along that run as well. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Now that Nicolas Maduro is locked up in a New York detention center, President Trump says Venezuela has agreed to give the U.S. 30 million barrels of oil. Mr. Trump says he will control the profits. New York's GOP Congressman Mike Lawler.
You don't want China, you don't want Russia coming in and having control of the oil reserves in our hemisphere.
Fellow Republican Thomas Massey of Kentucky sees it differently.
They kidnapped president of another country. They claim to have taken over, Donald Trump does at least, taken over the operations of the country, and he's going to take over their oil. I mean, this is a war. These are acts of war.
His top advisors say the president and his advisors are not ruling out a military operation to take control of Greenland. Correspondent Weijia Jiang is at the White House.
The official statement reads, the president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal. And of course, utilizing the U.S. military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal.
Director Rob Reiner's son will be arraigned today in his mother and father's stabbing deaths. Correspondent Matt Gutman reports from L.A.
For nearly 3 weeks, Nick Reiner has been held without bail, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the killings of his parents inside their Brentwood home. His attorney urged the public not to rush to judgment. According to People magazine, Reiner was recently removed from suicide watch at the LA County Jail and placed in mental health housing where he's being monitored every 15 minutes.
A tense landing at an airport in the South.
A LATAM Airlines flight from Peru was landing at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport when air traffic control reported
all tires under the wing seem to be blown.
The Boeing 787 was able to come to a controlled stop. Emergency crews rushed to the scene and helped passengers get off the plane on the runway. No injuries were reported. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
1 year ago today, the first flames of wildfires that devastated Los Angeles began. At least 31 people were killed. Thousands of buildings burned to the ground, among them Steve Gibson's home in Altadena.
We took it really seriously. We just took our go bag, our passports, our insurance, and our little dog, Canteen Floss, and left in like 15 minutes. We checked with our neighbors to make sure they were getting out.
Yesterday's LA's fire chief admitted his department's after-action report on the Palisades fire was watered down to protect top brass from scrutiny. Dow futures up 28. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com,
an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Right now it is 7:04 and we've got clear skies, 35 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. St. Louis leaders want you to know, if you are coming downtown to attend the U.S. Figure Skating Championships, you will not be alone. Thousands of people will be attending, and police will be watching.
St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy says his department has a multi-day operation in place.
Like when we had the Frozen Four and how successful that was many months ago, what our city has to offer, how safe it was.
This is not the first time St. Louis has hosted large events. In fact, one source tells KMOX we've had multiple events going on at the same time at all three sports venues. Winterfest has been extended specifically because of the Figure Skating Championship. Executive Director of the Gateway Park Foundation, Brian McClure.
And when we started talking to the Sports Commission and U.S. Figure Skating about keeping Winterfest open, usually we close it on New Year's Day, but keeping it open longer to augment the Figure Skating Championships, it just made sense.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The economic impact from having the Figure Skating National Championship in St. Louis is substantial, says Greater St. Louis Inc.'s Ron Kitchens.
Too many times we look at events like this and we think it's tourism or sports. This is business. We know of the top three indicators of why companies pick communities is, one, they read about the community and the great things happening in that community.
St. Louis stands to take in more than $28 million, with about $1.2 million of that in tax revenue for the city.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page was grilled again Tuesday night over his idea to use Rams settlement money to pay off the budget deficit. In a letter Monday, Page also asked for more than $400,000 of the Rams money to be used for heating and cooling centers for the homeless.
Page wants to use it to buy food for the animals at the county shelter as well. Here's County Council member Rita Hurd Days.
It doesn't make any sense to gin people up about, oh my God, the dogs are going to die. And they're not. They're going to be fed. They have been fed, and they will continue to be fed.
Nearly every member of the county council, both Democrat and Republican, criticized Page's idea. No vote was taken on the matter.
Almost $24 million has been paid to St. Louisans impacted by the Manhattan Project. It's part of the RECA, Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. John Chapman is co-founder of Just Moms STL, and she tells KMOX while payments have been fast, it's kind of overwhelming the system.
We see a lot of people applying, and a lot of people, because people are receiving their compensation, their neighbors, their family members, suddenly this program became real. And it is paying out. And so people that might have been reluctant or thought, well, maybe this is, a hoax, maybe it's not a real thing, are finding that it is.
People have 2 years to apply. However, Chapman says the line for getting the documentation they need is getting longer and taking a lot of time. Tonight from 5 until 8, there's a free RECA support at the Bridgeton Trails Library Branch Meeting Room.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, 2 massive data centers could soon bring billions of dollars and maybe 150 new jobs to Montgomery County in east central Missouri. But some residents worry about their utility bills rising because of the enormous energy these data centers will use. Montgomery County Commissioner Doug Lensing tells MissouriNet there are safeguards put in place from the Missouri Public Service Commission for large energy load users.
They require them to
give a maximum amount of power necessary, and they start charging them for that, whether they're using it or not. And they also require the large load users to build out all the infrastructure necessary to service their facility. I think they put some guardrails in to try to hold the line on how much it would affect rates.
If approved, the data centers would span more than 1,700 acres near the I-70 Highway 19 interchange in Montgomery County.
How does your commute look this morning? We'll check in with Roger Brand in 2 minutes at 7:08.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel, the #1 sportsbook in America. And I want to remind you, the wild card round is here, so FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day, and each game day during the wild card round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. So you pick the way that you want to. Pick the matchups you believe in. So let's say you're like me and you like the Rams matchup this week, or Josh Allen and the Bills maybe finish slow, but you think they've got a run in them. Take your shot. Take your shot on that. Maybe take your shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment, and then you apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So all you have to do is visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Remember, 21 and older and present in Missouri to play. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming app university that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
Al Arbor, Barrett Jackman, and Alexander Steen celebrate the newest inductees into the St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, presented by First Community during a pregame ceremony on January 13th when the Blues take on the Hurricanes. Be sure to get here early to honor the legends and be one of the first 10,000 fans through the gate to receive a Blues Hall of Fame Class of 2026 banner courtesy of First Community. Get your tickets today at stlouisblues.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is now 7:10. This is Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Tom Ackerman, and Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, they just cleared a crash on North 270. MoDOT's just pulling away as we speak. It was North 270 north of 44. They had the right lanes blocked. Northbound 270 slow from just north of 55 to Tesson Ferry. Approaching Gravois, it's slow most of the way up to 44, but it jams just before you get there. But like I said, this crash was right around the Marshall Road overpass. They just cleared it, so the front end of that's going to start opening up now and should improve. If you're on southbound 61, it's better than it was, but it's still slow. Approaching Wensfield Parkway onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard. That opens up as you're going up the hill there toward the boulevard. Eastbound 70 looks great. Just a little slow at TR Hughes. Not much to be concerned about there. Northbound 55, you've got the usual slow traffic approaching 67 down south, and then it's backed up from just north of the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear, a little busy. Loughborough, Holly Hills downtown, westbound 64, west of 3rd Street to the Poplar, slow. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says we're looking at a nice warm day today, a high of 64 degrees, increasing clouds, low 48 tonight. Then cloudy and balmy with rain at times tomorrow, especially in the afternoon, says Joe. Could also be a thunderstorm tomorrow, so we'll keep our eyes open for that. Windy in the afternoon tomorrow and a high of 65 degrees. Currently it's clear, 35 downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:12. St. Louis County Police are looking for the driver who struck and killed a pedestrian Sunday night, then left the scene before officers arrived. This happened in South County near the corner of Vescovo Drive and Lemay Ferry. Police identify the victim as 48-year-old Bryant Watkins of Lemay.
A man who panhandled on area streets for years will find out today if he finally took it a step too far. Megan Lynch has more.
De Pere banned all solicitation of money on roadways, even for charities, after a federal judge ruled that banning only panhandling was unconstitutional. Robert Fernandez tested the law in De Pere and was fined. The city has argued it's a public safety issue. Attorney Beavis Schock represents Fernandez.
What's really going on is it's a pretext By that word, I mean that this is a way to make it so that the beggars can't beg in Des Peres.
Des Peres attorney Tim Engelmeyer says there are plenty of other places Fernandez could go to ask for help.
He has chosen to try to solicit money from one of the busiest intersections in the St. Louis metropolitan area. There's close to 50,000 cars go through this intersection.
A judge is expected to rule on the case later today, and we go in depth at 8:11 here on KMOX.
The CDC now classifies the influenza risk as very high in both Missouri and Illinois, mirroring the winter surge now seen in nearly 2/3 of the country.
In Missouri, there have been nearly 9,000 flu cases reported so far this season, with 3,000 new ones coming in the last week alone. WashU infectious disease specialist Dr. Stephen Lawrence.
It's not all that unusual. This is the time of year we tend to see it, but it is a pretty sharp increase that could be a harbinger of a pretty nasty season.
Illinois just saw its first pediatric influenza death. In Illinois, children between the ages of 5 and 17 are seeing the highest impact in the surge in cases. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
7:14 on Total Information AM. A new study links eating preservative additives with a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. Here's CBS News correspondent Michael George.
France found that people who consumed high levels of foods and beverages containing common preservatives had as much as a 49% greater chance of being diagnosed with diabetes. Researchers say consumers should try to eat more fresh, minimally processed foods.
Therapists around the nation are increasingly worried about a loneliness epidemic.
A recent AARP study finds that 40% of adults aged 45 and older are struggling with loneliness. And psychiatrist Dr. Sue Varna says some worry about coming across as needy.
We're afraid to be vulnerable. We're afraid to ask for help. We think of it as a sign of weakness.
Research finds that social isolation significantly increases the risk of dementia, depression, strokes, heart disease, and premature death. Allison Keys, CBS News.
SLU and VCU tonight on KMOX at 6 o'clock. Earlier, we played a highlight of Kellen Thames penetrating, kicking it out to Robbie Avila for a three. Well, Kellen can also do this.
Looks in on Dunlap's tunnel away by Thames. Look out. It's showtime. Jam time. Oh, the windmill. Left-handed dunk. Crowd on its feet. Here, give me another one. Oh. Kellen Thames bringing down the house. He almost got him back to back. He comes into the game and gets a steal and a dunk. He's 22 of his last 29 from the field. 22 of 29.
Yeah, you know, he's talk about a guy who's kind of finding his footing. You know, he obviously got off to a great start last year. First 4 games, people forget. You know, they look at the whole season, and he averaged 6 and 4. He was averaging almost 15 and 8 the first 4 games.
That's right.
And
Dominant.
after that, I don't even count a game from there because he never was close to full strength. I mean, he played 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. One game he got to 13 minutes, but he never was himself. And he was, you know, so after those first 4 games, and so he really, you know, had just those little bit. And now, you know, you see him this year and he's just getting so comfortable inside of what he does. He's got such great instincts on the, you know, to steal the ball, you know, defensively. It's an interesting deal. You know, he's you know, Deion Brown's probably our best on-ball defender, and he doesn't steal the ball a ton. He just is very good on the ball. He doesn't get a lot of, you know, a lot of it's invisible, his ball pressures and that. Kellen is a good on-ball defender, but he's by far the best we have at stealing the basketball. His instincts to jump passing lanes, to rip stuff, you know, his cutting, he's understanding offensively what he's doing. He's playing off 2 feet. He's so fast. You know, we had to really work on getting him to learn how to stop. Sounds weird, but he goes so fast, it's hard for him at times to try to like slow down to make the right read. So
should be fun tonight as SLU and Kellen Thames and Coach Josh Schertz right there take on VCU. We'll have it for you at 6 o'clock, 5:45 pregame with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. Also tonight, Mizzou visits Kentucky. That's a 6 o'clock tip-off on ESPN2 from Rupp Arena. Last night at SIUE, the Cougars won at home against Lindenwood. Final score was 66-62. The Blues play tonight. They are on the road at Chicago, taking on the Blackhawks. Another chance to win 3 in a row.
Well, I don't know. It's a common thread with last season if you're looking at comparables. We didn't get it, and I don't know. If we get 3, we get 12. seems like, so hopefully that continues, that same thread as last year.
Coach Jim Montgomery, the game time is scheduled for 8:30 from the United Center in Chicago. The Cardinals have a new pitcher. It's Justin Brule. Here he is against the Cardinals as a Pittsburgh Pirate.
It's 1-2. There, that one, a paint job.
Got Alec Burleson with that one, lefty-lefty matchup. That's why they like him. 224 lifetime batting average for lefties against the lefty Justin Brule. They got him from the Guardians. He came up through the Dodgers system. The Cardinals get the trade for cash considerations with the Guardians, and this is some backup now in case they do indeed trade Jojo Romero, their veteran lefty, in the pen. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
With his deep, resonant voice and flawless delivery, John McCormick became the sound that millions heard as the day came to a close. Affectionately known as the man who walks and talks at midnight, McCormick brought you a calm, dignified presence to KMOX's late night hours, a throwback to the golden age of radio announcers.
Good morning, everyone. John McCormick speaking, the man who walks and talks at midnight. From our little part of the world, the city of St. Louis, here comes 50,000 clear channel red-hot watts of the wide horizon late-night signal of radio.
Listeners across the country tuned in to hear that unmistakable voice, a steady, comforting companion whose elegance and precision helped shape KMOX's nighttime identity for generations. John McCormick, a KMOX pioneer.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:20 and this is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Let's get you caught up on your ride in this morning. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center is where we find Roger Brand.
Well, Debbie, northbound 270 is slow as you ramp on from 55. It backs up Tesson Ferry to Sappington, Gravois, most of the way up to 44 to do the crash we had north of 44. The crash was cleared just before our last report, but traffic's still slow to about Marshall Road. After that, you're good to go. Southbound 61 looks okay. Eastbound 64 is a little busy. East of Prospect, eastbound 70 through Highway Z and passing Highway A. There's a little bit of slow traffic there as well. If you're taking North 55 into work, slow traffic almost midway up from 61 to 67, a little closer to 67. And then the right lane slow at Butler Hill. All lanes, Union Road up to River to Pear, congested. It's slow again, Loughborough through Virginia and downtown westbound 64. You've got some volume, just a slow pace generally from about 3rd Street headed across the Poplar. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we're looking at a nice day today, Roger. Sunny and warm, high 64, increasing clouds, low 48 tonight. Tomorrow, some rain at times, especially in the afternoon. Could also be a thunderstorm, high 65. Friday, a shower early, and then we start to cool off as the day goes along. 55 is the early high Friday, and we drop into the 40s. Currently, it's clear, 35 downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:22 and the High Point Drive-In announcing Tuesday that 3 of its 9 restaurants have closed. Those locations are the ones in Baldwin, Edwardsville, and O'Fallon, Illinois. High Point's owner says employees will be offered jobs at the 6 remaining restaurants. He said the smash burger serving company will be getting back to basics, having better consistency and more focus.
Childhood vaccination rates are dropping across the nation and have fallen below 90% in some states. The CDC says that's one reason behind its new guidelines. But on Tuesday, some Western states told people the latest federal recommendations are too dangerous to follow. Here's CBS Sacramento reporter Marley Ginter.
Debate over childhood vaccines causing a rift over recommendations between the CDC and California.
It's really sad.
UC Davis Dr. Dean Blumberg says the new federal guidelines are based on politics instead of science.
The CDC traditionally has made these large decisions by vetting them, by having models to show what would happen if you made changes such as this, and none of this has really happened. So it really lacks any kind of scientific rigor.
Now California is joining 3 other states in a West Coast Health Alliance issuing their own immunization recommendations.
It's highly unusual for states to deviate from guidance from CDC.
Washington State's health director says the new federal guidelines drop some vaccines critical to keeping kids healthy.
The new schedule does not include vaccinations against diseases like rotavirus or RSV or meningococcal disease or hepatitis A or hepatitis B.
But the CDC says right now the U.S. recommends more vaccines than any other peer nation and more than twice as many as some European countries. They say decreased trust over vaccines is leading to an overall decline in immunizations, which has caused some recent outbreaks. The CDC is not changing recommendations for high-risk populations, and the decision is not expected to affect vaccines required by California school districts.
Immunization requirements for school entry are developed by the states, not the federal government.
Doctors worry conflicting views can be confusing to parents.
I think what I'd recommend, talk with your child's doctor. They're the ones who have your child's best interest in mind, not the politicians.
The CDC says the vaccines will continue to be available for anyone who wants them and will still be covered by Medicaid and private health insurance.
Enhanced tax credits for people enrolled in the Affordable Care Act expired at the start of the year. Lawmakers did not extend them before January 1st. Healthcare nonprofit KFF estimates over 20 million people could see premiums go up by 114%. Republican Congressman Mike Lawler.
We endeavored in a bipartisan negotiation after the shutdown to come up with a compromise bill that would extend the subsidies, but put in place necessary reforms. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a vote on that before Christmas.
We've heard about cars without drivers being tested in St. Louis. Next time you see an 18-wheeler on an interstate in Texas, you may note it doesn't have a driver. KEYE TV reporter Andrew Lemparski has more on autonomous trucking in the Lone Star State.
Just about any interstate in Texas these days, you're going to start to have a chance of seeing an autonomous truck.
Butt Auto is based in Katy, just outside of Houston.
You talk about AI, yes, that's a big part of it.
Bart Teeter, the retired Texas Department of Public Safety captain, says driverless trucking may actually make highways safer.
Our driver doesn't do the things that people do. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't get drunk. It doesn't take drugs. It doesn't get angry or distracted.
Companies are already using the technology right next to drivers on I-35 through Austin.
Not all award shows require you to get up early in the morning to hear the nominations. The Actor Awards, formerly the SAG Awards, will announce nominations today at noon St. Louis time on Netflix's YouTube channel. It's the first year under the new moniker for one of Hollywood's most closely watched harbingers of the Oscars. It was presented by the SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, voted on by the Guild's 160,000 plus members. The Actor Awards, what it's called now, give an accurate window into what the largest branch of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, the actors, are leaning towards this award season.
It is 7:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. What is it that makes the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid an incredible SUV?
Is it the spacious interior that's comfy for the whole crew? Or the capability to go off-road? Maybe it's up to 600 plus miles of range. What if it's all of that and more? What is it then? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. Pick up to 40 days of consistency. All over Febreze car clips right on your bed. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Hey City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti Refillable Rambler is here. Don't miss your chance to get the only reusable drinkware with exclusive in and out privileges at Energizer Park. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to guarantee you get yours by the home opener on February 21st and join St. Louis City in their mission to reduce waste on match day and every day.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit theaudiologycenterstl.com.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is 7:30 and we've got sunshine and 35 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We do have some traffic. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's not terrible out there right now. We're getting close to the peak of rush hour. A lot of slow going, though. In fact, it is backed up in pockets as you ramp on from northbound 55, getting on to North 270 up to about Gravois. And then north of 44, just generally slow from there all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 70 drivers still looking at a little slowdown, passing Highway A, now approaching 94 to 5th Street. That's a little heavier. Eastbound 64 just past Prospect, there's volume. But again, Chesterfield Parkway West to about Timberlake is slow. A brief slowdown at the Interbelt, a little volume. Westbound 64 starting to bunch up at Hampton through Clayton Skidker, but slow out to about Big Bend. After that, northbound 55, the usual delays, Union Road overpass up to River to Pear, and westbound 64 now from Baugh Avenue to the Poplar, a slower pace running through that stretch. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Enjoy our spring-like weather in early January. Today, mostly sunny and 64 degrees. Tomorrow's high 65 with some rain at times and maybe even a thunderstorm. But then that storm will make the temperatures cool off a little. So by the weekend, it will be more January-like. Right now, it's 35 degrees.
It's officially Mardi Gras season in St. Louis. Hundreds gathered in the Soulard neighborhood yesterday for the 12th night celebration. This year's festival theme is Peace, Love, and Mardi Gras. Congratulations in order to one of our favorite listeners, Bill Seedoff. He is the new Rex. Mayor Kara Spencer says she's thrilled to welcome the annual Mayor's Ball back to City Hall in 2026. And she says special thanks go out to the Mardi Gras Foundation for offering to donate all proceeds from the ball to ongoing tornado recovery efforts in St. Louis.
And speaking of Mayor Spencer, she's expected to release more information soon on the first new neighborhood plan, which is in the tornado zone.
KMOX got an exclusive preview from the mayor.
And it's one of many to come. So this isn't the start of the effort to really build the framework to rebuild.
Spencer says this was a plan guided by community involvement in some neighborhoods impacted by the tornado. The Ville, Greaterville, and Kingsway East are receiving future development, investment, and community priorities. The plan will also play an essential role in informing tornado recovery efforts and supporting rebuilding and reinvestment aligned with long-term neighborhood resilience and community aspirations.
Don't believe everything you read online, especially if it says you can skip your car inspection. The Missouri Department of Revenue debunking reports that claimed the state had, starting on January 1st, eliminated safety inspections and extended registration periods. Officials blame the confusion on inaccurate information, likely generated by artificial intelligence. They say state law has not changed. Drivers must still get their cars inspected and tagged.
Well, believe this, not just the nation's best skaters, but the world's greatest skaters are in St. Louis right now for the U.S. Figure Skating Championships. Mark Schreiber is president of the St. Louis Sports Commission and says the U.S. has 3 of the 4 reigning world champions, including Ilya Malaman, the only person to ever land a quadruple axel.
Only person to do that, and only person to do 7 quads in one program.
Oh my gosh. I remember when the triple was the biggest deal.
Yeah. Schreiber was a guest on the Chris and Amy show. Events get underway today at Enterprise Center. The U.S. Olympic team will be named Sunday.
By the way, there are still some tickets available if you would like to take in the skating spectacle. It is 7:34, and the news is sponsored for you by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life, not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
It is 7:36 and time for your money report from Bloomberg, which is sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Affordable trucks are giving a bump to Ford. Customers have been demanding them as the price of a new car continues to climb. Sales at the automaker rose 6% last year, boosted by its entry-level Ford Maverick pickup, which had a record year. It was Ford's best annual sales performance since 2019. By the way, the F-150 pickup is the best-selling vehicle in the U.S. for the 44th year in a row. Checking in on trading this morning, futures are holding steady after stocks closed at a new record, moving past geopolitical shocks such as Venezuela. Yesterday, the Dow soared 485 points. Stocks have been on a tear boosted by bets on artificial intelligence companies. And a chat app popular with gamers and programmers is looking to become a public company. Discord is said to have filed for initial public offering. The platform has more than 200 million monthly users. Discord was founded a decade ago and offers voice, video, and text chatting capabilities. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the colleges paid for dream.
This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
It's 2026 and it's time to get your home zero resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119 plus a free hallway, and take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the KMWEX special. ZeroResSTL.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It's men's Billikens basketball action tonight as they face VCU. Pregame 5:45, tip at 6 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We'll have a preview of that game coming up in 5 minutes. Right now, Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, northbound 270 drivers are bogged down as you ramp on from 55. It's bumper to bumper on that ramp. Once you merge on, there are just slow pockets up through Gravois. Approaching 44, it's busy all the way up off the pace through 64. Southbound 270, just olive down to Ladue, so that's not terrible for this time of day. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, a little busy at Bryan Road at T.R. Hughes. East of Zumbel in through the Blanchette Bridge is slow. There's a little heavy stretch right around Air Flight, and it's kind of busy from Hanley all the way in through about Jennings Station, and the sunshine has come up out of Cool Valley. Southbound 61, Winslow Parkway under 64 up to 364 is slow from about Annie Guns almost all the way to Timberlake, and then briefly at the Interbelt. The Interbelt southbound has a little heavy traffic around Frost Airport Road and Delmore down to Ladue. Westbound 64 Science Center headed out through Big Bend is kind of busy on that run. If you're on northbound 55, it looks good down at 67 right now. The right lane's busy at Mattis to 270. All lanes backed up Union Road overpass, and it remains heavy all the way up to Holly Hills. Westbound 64 from the 70 splits at the Poplar. There's a lot of congestion. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At 7:41, time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. People should enjoy the next couple of days of spring-like weather.
Indeed, because there's a reality check on the way for this weekend, Debbie. It looks like a couple of fronts will come through the area and bring progressively colder air to bear to the region, but not today. It's going to be a beautiful day with sunshine, mid-60s this afternoon. Tonight, we'll start out clear, but clouds will be increasing through the overnight hours, the low 48. That'll lead to a cloudy, mild day tomorrow, but with rain at times, most of that coming in the afternoon. Might even be a rumble of thunder. The wind will pick up out of the south, and that'll send temperatures up to the mid-60s. We'll have rain at times tomorrow night, maybe even a thunderstorm. Last of the rain showers exits early Friday, probably south and east of the city. A mostly cloudy, breezy, cooler day. We start at the mid-50s, then slowly fall from there. Saturday, morning cloud, then a shower followed by some afternoon sun, but breezy and even chillier. Our high 45, the coldest day. That'll be Sunday. Despite more sun than clouds, only 37 before we jump back into the upper 40s on Monday. Right now, it's 35 at St. Peter's, 34 at Florissant, sunny, 38 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Joe, thank you. It's 7:43, sports in 2 minutes. Lawmakers from both parties are offering praise for the U.S. troops who executed the raid in Venezuela, but the agreement stops there. Republican Eric Schmidt of Missouri says the operation was a success.
If this was something other than that, like toppling a regime or regime change, you would have seen a much different military posture and the entire government would have been toppled. This is one person in a law enforcement action that was removed.
But Illinois Democrat Tammy Duckworth questions the president's priorities.
Trump campaigned on bringing costs down. He promised he'd get our nation out of wars, not into them. Please tell me how he's making America great again.
Duckworth says the administration should be as aggressive about fixing health care as it is about foreign intervention.
The Senate set to vote this week on a measure to limit the president's war powers after the military raid on Venezuela. While many Republicans have been supportive of the action, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is one of the GOP members who is not. He tells CBS Mornings it should have been brought to Congress first.
The planning for this attack in Venezuela took 4 months. We could have easily voted for a declaration of war had it been brought to Congress. People say, well, the surprise is gone. Well, I don't think anybody was surprised by this attack. And the actual details of when it would occur don't have to be given to Congress.
Anti-government protests are spreading throughout Iran 10 days after they began. Human rights groups say at least 36 protesters have been killed. President Trump has threatened U.S. intervention if Iran's government continues its crackdown. Here's CBS's Elizabeth Palmer.
We know the protests have erupted across Iran, mostly in the south and the west. And while they aren't huge compared to the massive uprisings we saw back in 2022 and 23, they are continuing and they do appear to be growing. Some of them have been orderly marches, some of them violent. And for sure, the longer they go on, the greater the threat to the regime.
Amazon has to pay up.
Amazon customers can now file a claim under its $2.5 billion settlement with the Federal Trade Commission. It resolved allegations of deceptive enrollment practices in the retailer's Prime shopping service. The FTC had alleged that Amazon duped customers into signing up for Prime and made it hard for customers to cancel their membership. As part of the settlement, Amazon neither admitted nor denied the allegations. Customers should go to the website subscriptionmembershipsettlement.com to file a claim. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
This Billikens team can get downhill on you in a hurry. Players like Dion Brown, Trey Green, who can shoot from the outside, but he can be quick and get into that lane if he needs to. Quentin Jones, of course, can get downhill. Amari McCautry. They got some big boys, too. Paul Otieno will bang inside and get some rebounds. And Kellen Thames, of course, can do it all. Flies up and down the floor, makes big plays. He can play inside, outside. But 3 players who really make a difference for this team, they can shoot the long ball. Robbie Avila, Brady Dunlap, Ishan Sharma. They'll all be needed tonight as the Billikens take on VCU. Coach Josh Schertz.
You look at Robbie, you look at Ishan, you look at Brady. Those are guys who, they're not going to, blow you, away with their quick twitch athleticism or vertical athleticism. But those 3 guys really think the game at a high level, and that's what really makes them, what they are. And so Ish has been just so good for us. He's just such a solid player. He doesn't turn it over, as you mentioned. He gets the ball where it's supposed to go to, and then he's got great gravity. I mean, the 3 he made, sprinting towards,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
on the move, spinning, turning, and
sprinting,
nothing but net.
Yeah, and it's just such a hard shot.
Yeah,
that was a shot that was made right in front of the SLU bench in that 102-79 win over St. Joseph's. That was like Steph Curry style for Ishan Sharma. they're loaded with offense. There is no doubt about that. The Billikens averaged 91 points per game. Coach Schertz wants SLU to lock it down defensively. They'll need it tonight at VCU. They're going to be 2-point underdogs, at least they are right now, going into Richmond and the Siegel Center, where they've never won. 6 o'clock tip-off, 5:45 pregame for 13-1 St. Louis University. Mizzou plays tonight at Kentucky. That one tips off at 6 o'clock. Last night at SIUE, the Cougars won at home against Lindenwood. Final 66-62. The Blues are at the Blackhawks tonight. We've been hearing from Jim Montgomery this morning. 8:30 is the announced start time, but it'll really be about 8:50 because that game is televised on TNT. At Enterprise Center, the U.S. Figure Skating Championships, they start tonight and run through Sunday when the U.S. Olympic team will be announced right here in St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman. Coming up today at noon, the Gas House Gang on KMOX, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Cardinals' acquisition of Justin Brule, the left-handed reliever who was acquired from the Guardians for cash considerations. 224 lifetime batting average against lefties. That's why they really like him in that bullpen. And if Jojo Romero gets traded, the Cardinals will have themselves a veteran lefty already in place. We'll be talking about that, and who knows what happens between now and noon. Could be another move on the horizon for the Cards. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Okay, we've got the chips, the fancy cheese, the sparkling cider. Oh, and I need to fill up the tank on the way home.
Look at the cart. We haven't even hit midnight yet, and you're already blowing your save money resolution for next year.
I'm not blowing it. I'm being smart. I'm using Upside.
Upside? That cash back app?
Exactly. I just claimed an offer, and just like that, I'm getting cash back on all these groceries. And I'll do the same at the gas station. It's how I earned an extra $250 this year.
Wait, $250?
Yep, that's extra cash I can cash out to my bank or throw onto gift cards to my favorite spots.
Download the free Upside app and start earning cash back now. Use promo code POP10 for a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code POP10. Make your resolution easy this year. Download the free Upside app today and use promo code POP10 for an extra $10 bonus on your first purchase.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Neil Forever performs Neil Diamond live in concert at the Factory in Chesterfield on Friday, January 9th.
It's fantastic.
Friday, January 9th, Neil Forever performing all the hits of Neil Diamond at the Factory.
He is a great performer.
He's amazing.
Sounds just like Neil.
Grab and roll to get on board. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Nominations for the 2026 Women of Achievement are now open. The St. Louis Area Award is the oldest ongoing program in the area whose sole mission is to honor and recognize the volunteer service and volunteer leadership of women. If you know an outstanding volunteer in the St. Louis metropolitan area, or if you are one, Women of Achievement wants to hear from you. Nominations, including self-nominations, may be submitted now through January 11th. Head to KMOX.com for more information.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman, Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:50 and time for us to get you updated on traffic and weather. And we'll start here with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still pretty slow, Debbie, on the commute up North 270 this morning from south of Tesson Ferry. It goes all the way to Ladue, south 270, 364 down to Ladue. So it's busier on that run as well. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, east of A through Lake St. Louis Boulevard toward Bryan Road, a little busy at TR Hughes. East of Cave Springs, there's a couple slowdowns to the Blanchette Bridge from Lindbergh to Air Flight, and then again from Hanley Road all the way into the city limits, just a general slow procession. Southbound 79 is slow in St. Paul down to North Main Street. Southbound 61, you've got delays Wentzville Parkway to 64 to the Boulevard, from Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake, from east of Ballast through Clayton Warson, and then again at the Interbelt busy in spots from Olive to 64. Westbound 64, Science Center to Hanley's pretty busy. Northbound 55, a backup. Union Road to River to Pears, slow up through Virginia, and westbound 64 from the 70 split to the Poplar, there's heavy pockets. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny, warm today, high 64 degrees, says AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Increasing clouds tonight, low 48, and then some rain at times tomorrow afternoon. Could even be a thunderstorm, says Joe, with a high of 65 tomorrow. Friday, temperatures start to fall throughout the day after some early rain. High 55, high just 45 on Saturday and 37 on Sunday. Currently, we are sunny 35 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. St. Louis City Police Chief Robert Tracy has added a second job. The University of Missouri St. Louis announcing Tuesday Tracy has a deal in place through the end of 2028 to serve as an educational consultant. Officials say he'll do workshops with faculty and students within UMSL's Department of Criminology and Criminal Justice.
Tracy's new 3-year employment contract with City Police allows him to do secondary work if approved by the Board of Commissioners. Tracy's salary was cut by $100,000 after the Police Foundation declined to continue contributing that salary bump.
A new session of the Missouri legislature begins today. Republican House Speaker John Patterson spoke with our partners at Fox 2 about seeking ways to provide relief to taxpayers.
People look at and businesses look at when they're deciding where to go. One of the things is how are people taxed? And so you have a number of states that have gone to no income taxes. You have states that have legislated it and are going to no income taxes. It seems like a lot of states are doing this and they're seeing the most growth.
With college football postseason nearing its high point, Missourians are being warned about the dangers of betting on illegal websites.
Jack Cardetti with the Sports Betting Alliance says offshore operators are still targeting players. And if someone unknowingly uses an illegal site and loses money, they can do a couple of things.
First and foremost, you should contact the Missouri Gaming Commission. They take complaints about that. And then you should also talk with the Missouri Attorney General's consumer hotline. They do take complaints like that when people have been defrauded in the marketplace here in Missouri.
Law enforcement and consumer advocates like the Better Business Bureau have recently warned how unregulated betting operators like Stake and MyBookie put consumers at risk. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs may be moving west, but the Royals are not following suit. Kansas lawmakers say their offer to fund 70% of a new baseball stadium in the Sunflower State is officially dead. House Speaker Dan Hawkins says despite losing out on the Royals, he's confident the state's economic tools are still working.
We've gotten a speedway that's all paid off. We have many of the whole Legends area. It never would have happened. And look at all of the money that has come out of that now.
With Kansas out, the team is focusing on Washington Square Park and the East Village near City Hall. Planners say the East Village site is the more practical option because it offers 27 acres of shovel-ready land.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is freezing billions in federal funds for social services in 5 Democratic-run states, including Illinois. Here's CBS's Allison Keyes.
The cuts include $7 billion for the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program and also billions for the Child Care Development Fund, among others. This after federal child care funding was frozen in Minnesota over fraud, and President Trump calls California more corrupt than Minnesota. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he's blocked over $125 billion in fraud and calls Trump a deranged, habitual liar. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
HHS says it's ensuring that Minnesota, Colorado, New York, Illinois, and California are protecting hard-earned taxpayer dollars. Now, Illinois Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin issued a written response, which reads in part, quote, by ripping away $10 billion for child care and social services in Illinois and 4 other states, Trump is exacerbating the ongoing child care shortage and cynically picking and choosing which families deserve help. Playing politics and coming after kids simply because they live in states that voted against him is anything but America first.
It's 7:56.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real. And I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use this directed.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti refillable Rambler is here. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to get yours by the home opener on February 21st.
Let's go to Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're still heavy, Tom. Northbound 55 north at Tesson Ferry all the way up through 44. Jam 44 to Marshall remains busy all the way to Ladue. Eastbound 64 coming off 61. Wentzville Parkway through the Boulevard's busy. Coming out of the Valley, Boone's crossing through Clarkson. Looks like an incident in Maryville Center, a short jam up there. And then it's still heavy in spots. Ballast through Lindbergh and again at the Interbelt. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Wednesday, the 7th of January. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and coming up in the next hour, local governments are watching for a ruling today that could impact panhandling laws in the region.
Flu cases are surging. I'm Tom Ackerman. We'll learn more from state health officials.
Is the microbrewery market tapped out? KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz takes a look.
AI will be on the docket in courtrooms in 2026. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young joins Megan Lynch at 8:40.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A beautiful day today with sunshine and a warm afternoon high of 64.
I'll see you at noon on the Gas House Gang. It's 8.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin with breaking news from the North Atlantic, where the U.S. military has been pursuing an oil tanker as part of its pressure campaign against Venezuela. CBS's Stacey Lynn has new developments.
Sources tell CBS News the vessel was sanctioned for transporting oil from Venezuela and Iran and is now sailing under a Russian flag. Officials say Russian naval vessels, including a submarine, were deployed near the ship, and U.S. forces have now boarded the vessel. The U.S. has been following the tanker since last month.
There are reports of significant U.S. military movement elsewhere.
President Trump appears ready to back up his threats with firepower. The Times of London reports American military aircraft have been amassing at British air bases, often used as staging posts for U.S. operations in Europe and the Middle East. A fleet of at least 14 C-17 Globemaster transport aircraft and 2 heavily armed AC-130J Ghost Rider gunships have reportedly arrived since Saturday, the day of the U.S. arrest of Venezuela's President Maduro. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Top advisors say President Trump is not ruling out force in his bid to take control of Greenland. The Senate is expected to vote this week on limiting the president's war powers. Correspondent Nicole Skenga has been speaking with Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem about the administration's largest crackdown to date on immigration and its target, the the Twin Cities.
2,000 agents is enormous.
It is.
How do you justify that to the American taxpayer?
The American taxpayer is grateful that that resource allocation has been put here. We've never seen this kind of fraudulent and abuse of programs before in recent history.
Nick Reiner is scheduled to be arraigned in Los Angeles today on 2 counts of first-degree murder in the stabbing deaths of his mother and father, director Rob and producer Michelle Reiner. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
We can expect that mental health issues will play a huge role in the case against Nick Reiner. A threshold question will likely be whether or not Nick Reiner is in fact competent to stand trial. Even if he is, a jury could still find him not guilty by reason of insanity.
There is yet another reason to stay away from processed foods.
A study in France found that people who consumed high levels of foods and beverages containing common preservatives had as much as a 49% greater chance of being diagnosed with diabetes. Researchers say consumers should try to eat more fresh, minimally processed foods.
CBS's Michael George reporting. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored. At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, January 7th. I'm Megan Lynch.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, you heard Jackie Joyner-Kersee talk about how special it is to be an Olympian.
St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer talking with KMOX about the U.S. Figure Skating Championships beginning at Enterprise Center today.
Mayor Spencer says there are Olympians amongst us.
We'll be able to see them here live in St. Louis.
Spencer says preparations have been underway for months for this event.
I want to commend the entire police department and their team, their extraordinary work that they've done here in advance of this competition to make sure all the fans, the athletes, and our citizens, our residents, have a safe and fun time downtown.
And St. Louis's own Jackie Joyner-Kersee, 3 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze Olympic medals.
From the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Center, our students are going to come, learning what it's like to lace up, the skates and see that blade.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page grilled again Tuesday night over his idea to use Rams settlement money to pay off the budget deficit. In a letter Monday, Page also asked for more than $400,000 of the Rams money to be used for heating and cooling centers for the homeless. He also wants to use it to buy food for animals at the county shelter. County Council member Rita Hurd Days.
It doesn't make any sense to gin people up about, oh my God, the dogs are going to die. And they're not. They're going to be fed. They have been fed and they will continue to be fed.
Nearly every member of the county council, both Democrat and Republican, criticized Page's idea. No vote was taken on the matter. Tonight, there's a free informational meeting on getting help with applying for the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, or RECA. It's for people impacted by the Manhattan Project. Just Mom's STL co-founder John Chapman says some sources have been getting misinformation from AI sources.
Things like, for instance, typing in a question, is renal cancer one of the cancers, is this cancer, and it's given different information. And sometimes it's saying yes when something is truly not included. And sometimes it's alluding to the fact that it might be different zip codes.
Chapman calls it alarming and is encouraging people to go to the Department of Justice's RECA website to find correct information. Tonight from 5 to 8, there's a free informational meeting at the Bridgeton Trails Library branch.
We can help you learn where to go for those documents, and we can also help sit with you and understand the questions on the application and what needs to be filled out.
And you can hear more from Don Chapman coming up this morning at 8:51 here on KMOX. A Cedar Hill man jailed without bond after his arrest and charges filed Tuesday in a stabbing incident. 35-year-old Joshua Plack faces counts of first-degree assault and armed criminal action. Court documents allege Plack used a long sword to repeatedly injure a woman early Tuesday inside his Cedar Hill home. Jefferson County deputies contacted Eureka police, who found and arrested Plack at a Eureka business. Deputies say he threatened to kill his victim if she didn't leave his home. The victim is said to have non-life-threatening injuries. Influenza cases now reported as very high in both Missouri and Illinois. It's a winter surge that's being seen in nearly 2/3 of the nation. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer.
Influenza-like illnesses across Missouri increased by about 3,000 during the last week of the year. In Missouri, there have been nearly 9,000 flu cases reported so far this season. WashU infectious diseases specialist Dr. Stephen Lawrence.
It's like you get hit by a truck, high fever, muscle aches, sore throat, cough. That's really how it comes about. We really don't have any evidence that this is any different.
Children in Illinois between the ages of 5 and 17 are seeing the highest impact in the surge in flu cases, which just saw its first pediatric influenza death of the season. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The Chesterfield Valley Athletic Complex has a new naming rights deal. It will be called the Chesterfield First Community Athletic Complex moving forward. City officials and Perfect Game, the world's largest youth baseball and softball entity, made the announcement. As part of the agreement, the First Community Children and Family Foundation will also be introduced. The foundation will serve as a major sponsor of the Miracle Field, an adaptive, fully accessible field located within the complex that provides athletes of all abilities the opportunity to participate and thrive in baseball and softball. Still ahead on Total Information AM, local governments watching for a ruling today that could impact panhandling laws in the region. You'll hear both sides of the case after traffic and weather. It's 8:08.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS. Ethos.com/Mike.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
8:10, time to check the roads for you with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
But we're still slow, Megan, on northbound 270. Approaching Tesson Ferry goes all the way up to Ladue. South 270, those thinned out. It looks great there. Eastbound Highway 70, still some heavy traffic. East of 94 to the Blanchette Bridge, a little busy. Cypress up the hill to Air Flight. And let's call it Lucas Hunt to Goodfellow, so that part's also improved. South 170 bogs down from your Delmar to 64. If you're on eastbound 64, still some slow stuff from the 61 crossover to Prospect that opens up before you get to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. We had an incident. I think it was a stall at Maryville Center that they were clearing. I think it's cleared now, but we're still backed up east of Annie Guns in Pockets up to that point. After that, it's just slow from the Interbelt to Big Bend, westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley. Typical delays there. Northbound 55 from Bayless up through about Virginia, you have heavy traffic. Downtown, eastbound 44 from the Poplar out onto 70 through Branch is pretty slow. And westbound 64, 3rd Street to the Bridge is still heavy. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Another beautiful day today with plenty of sunshine. Our high 64. Clouds gradually increase tonight, the low 48. Cloudy, mild tomorrow. Rain at times, particularly in the afternoon. There might be a thunderstorm in spots. It'll become increasingly windy later tomorrow, the high 65. Friday can start with a shower, mainly south and east of the city. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy, and cooler. The high 55 early, then temperature will slowly fall. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Sunny skies this morning, 35 degrees in Florissant. It's 33 in St. Peter's and 35 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. When a man who begged for money on area streets won a federal case that declared panhandling bans unconstitutional, Des Peres and other municipalities rewrote their laws. Des Peres now restricts all solicitation of money in roadways, including for established charitable groups. But Robert Fernandez again tested the law, asking passing drivers in Des Peres for money, and was cited for being in the roadway. His attorney's been fighting it, arguing it's still a restriction on free speech, a ruling expected today from a St. Louis County Circuit judge. We have both sides now, starting with Robert Fernandez's attorney, Beavis Schock.
Well, the core argument is that when the city of Des Peres passed a law saying that a beggar cannot take a step off the curb onto the roadway itself, that person is committing a safety violation. Now, we all know that the government has a right to make very strong safety rules, including in the benefit of the beggar himself. But what's really going on is it's a pretext. By that word, I mean that this is a way to make it so that the beggars can't beg in Des Peres. And I made that argument to the judge. We'll see how it goes. There's also another argument. The city of Des Peres has a firm that they contract with for traffic work. I mean, how to design intersections, how the lights will work, the stoplights, things like that. And there's one traffic engineer who has worked for Des Peres, I think she's the go-to person for Des Peres for many, many years. So she testified at the trial, and she said that there is basically no place to go on the busy streets where it is safe to do this, stepping to hold a sign saying, please give me money. That is wholly First Amendment protected speech. The beggar is in the what's called a public forum. So a sidewalk, next to a street, those are all owned as public property. There's an absolute right to engage in that speech there. It's not debatable under the Constitution and the case law. Now, so she says, oh, go to the park. It's very safe in the park. Well, of course, the reason it's safe in the park is there aren't any cars in there. There aren't enough people. And so we make the argument that there is no ample alternative for a location to beg, because the traffic engineer says there's no place safe to cross the street except in the crosswalk. And if you're in the crosswalk, then the car can't be in the crosswalk, so you can't reach your arm to the driver to have the driver turn over some money should the driver choose to do so. So we argue that there's no ample alternative, and the only way that the city can ban this conduct of begging is if they provide an ample alternative. City put on evidence that Mr. Fernandez stepped off the curb to accept money from generous donors. That's the story.
Now, I understand this came after another legal battle that you had over pretty much the same thing, and Des Peres basically changed their ordinances to cover not only panhandlers, as it were, but also charities as well. I'm curious if you've had any charities or other organizations say that they want to join in this lawsuit.
Have not. I mean, it's kind of sad. We all know that the old newsboys and I think it's the firemen in the fall work on muscular dystrophy, something like that over Labor Day weekend. They're always out there with their boots asking for money, and everybody chips in a little bit, and they raise a huge pile of money. And of course, in order not to be hypocrites, the city has to prohibit them as well as Robert Fernandez. And it's just it's ridiculous, because the old newsboys game has been going on in this community for 60 years, however it is, 70 years, I don't know how long. The firemen have been doing that. The firemen are the people most responsible for public safety, and they stand out in the middle of the street and do this.
That's attorney Beavis Schock representing Robert Fernandez, accused of violating a DePere ordinance prohibiting solicitation of money in roadways. I also reached out to DePere prosecuting attorney Tim Engelmeyer.
Well, from the city's perspective, it's pretty simple. It's about health, safety, and welfare of folks that are panhandling or using soliciting, as well as drivers that are utilizing the highway, Manchester and 270. This case from day one has been about safety, to put it simply.
As you know, Fernandez attorney Beavis Schock maintains that it really is just a pretext to say it's about safety. He's saying really it's about someone's constitutional right to ask for money in the streets.
Yeah, we just disagree on that issue. There's places all over the city where Mr. Fernandez could solicit, beg for money. There's public spots, there's sidewalks, there's parks. He has chosen to try to solicit money from one of the busiest intersections in the St. Louis metropolitan area. There's close to 50,000 cars go through this intersection. The intersection was not built for pedestrians. There's no crosswalks. There's no lights for pedestrians. There's not even ramps for people to walk up. So there's certainly areas throughout DePere, throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, where Mr. Fernandez can beg. He wants to beg here because it's where the most of the cars are, and that's dangerous. We have a history of accidents at this intersection, a history of catastrophic accidents where cars have gone over the curb, have gone out of control, and quite frankly, it's just not safe for him or anyone else to be out on this island stopping cars or having cars stop or stepping out into the intersection. That's what this case is about.
It's my understanding that DePere was among some of the municipalities who rewrote its ordinance to include charities after the federal lawsuit that determined just banning panhandling alone was unconstitutional. Are you worried that this might turn into a prolonged legal battle?
Well, I hope not. I think it's a common sense case. What happened was this same defendant, Mr. Fernandez, had a claim against St. Louis County for what he felt was a way over restrictive type of ordinance. And what DePere did, and a lot of cities did, is they rewrote their existing ordinances to try to comply with that case. So DePere had taken steps to address any problems there would be, that there could be perceived as being problems with the ordinance. The ordinance itself, I think, is pretty straightforward. Feel free to solicit and beg anywhere you want in DePere, except you can't be walking out in the middle of traffic to solicit money or anything else. And this not only goes for Mr. Fernandez, but it also goes for the old newsboys. It goes for firefighters who are holding booths. So we're not picking on the homeless. We're not picking on people they're soliciting for or begging for to survive. What we're saying is it's just not safe. And again, we're saying it's not safe for those that are stepping out into traffic, but we're also saying it's not safe for the cars that are stopping in the middle of the intersection that want to provide money to these folks. Both situations are unsafe.
That's DePere prosecuting attorney Tim Engelmeyer, and a ruling on the case expected later today from a St. Louis County Circuit judge. Coming up, flu cases are surging. We'll learn more from state health officials. It's 8:20. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have slow traffic on northbound 55, Tesson Ferry through Gravois. We had a minor incident, moved to the shoulder there. Still stop-and-go pockets from 44 up through Manchester, and it remains slow from there all the way up to Ladue. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, there's still a little slow traffic. Cypress up toward Air Flight, eastbound 64. We're still stop and go from Chesterfield Parkway West in toward 141. We had that incident near Maryville Center that they cleared. After that, it's still slow. McKnight to Big Bend. South 170 backs up at the Parkway. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley is slow. Eastbound 44, an incident near Barry Road. There's slow traffic from Lindbergh up to that. It looks like that may have been cleared as well. Northbound 55 still bogged down from Bayless up across the river to Pear. Westbound 70 past the Musel Veterans Bridge, slow. Westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplar is still heavy. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. That forecast for today, it's going to be mostly sunny and warm. We're expecting a high of 64 degrees, increasing clouds tonight with an overnight low of 48. Right now, sunshine, 35 downtown at the Arch.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
The number of flu cases in Missouri were up over the holidays. So let's get an update now from Dr. George Turabalizzi. He is the state epidemiologist with the Missouri Department of Health. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Yes, we see a significant increase in cases that started around mid-December. And then the last week of December, we had a real jump in visits for flu-like illness to emergency rooms. It went up to 11%. To compare, last year at the very peak, it was 13%, and we're already at 11%. And the hospital admissions went from about 200 to nearly 600 in the last week of December. So we are certainly on the sharp increase, upswing in cases in Missouri.
We've heard that this is the worst flu season in more than 25 years nationwide. And as you mentioned, not even at its peak yet. Would you agree with that?
The way the increase is happening, it is really sharp. And if that continues at this rate, we can have one of the worst seasons since the pandemic of 2011 pandemic of influenza. But flu is remarkably unpredictable. So the sharp increase may slow down and not continue at this pace. But even if it slows down, still, we're going to have probably one of those seasons where we have very high numbers of cases. Similar flu increasing cases happened in UK, but it started very early over there, and there was a very, very sharp increase in cases there, but then it kind of slowed down. But it took them about 10 weeks to get to the peak of those cases. And only now, just last couple of weeks, in January, they started seeing decreasing cases in UK. So if we draw parallel from there, so we still have a long way to go before we can turn the corner and cases start decreasing.
Is there actually a super flu strain that we've been hearing about?
It's in a way, it's exaggeration because it is just another subclade of H3N2 type flu. It is true, it is different in terms of it has a little bit more mutations than usual. But so far, experience from UK, for example, because they've been seeing this for much longer than we are, doesn't show that is producing more severe outcomes. And therefore, it's I understand people want to call something new super flu strain, but genetically and microbiologically, virologically, it's just another subclade of H3N2, which has a little bit more mutations than usual.
I saw more people masking over the holidays. What steps would you advise people to take to try and stay well right now?
The general flu prevention measures are the same as always. If you are sick, don't go to work, don't go to school. Protect your family members, isolate yourself, cover your mouth when you are coughing and sneezing because you're spreading a lot of virus when you do that. You can wear a mask to protect others, or if you are going out to public right now, of course, there is a very good chance somebody in that crowd will have a flu, so you can wear a mask if you want. And also remember that every time you have flu and you wipe your face, your nose, a virus ends up on your fingers and can stay there for hours. And you can spread virus if you are not washing your hands. And then you touch surfaces, you touch your countertops, your doorknobs, virus sticks to that as well. It stays there for a day or more. So that's why I make sure you disinfect surfaces at home when you are sick. So that's a kind of a general measures that's always applicable to any flu season.
Doctor, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time this morning.
Sure. Thank you.
That is Dr. George Turabalizzi with the Missouri Department of Health joining us this morning. It's 8:28, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
It's Tom Ackerman. We're going to have an amazing night Friday night at the Missouri Athletic Club. The Herman Trophy will be awarded. We'll have finalists from the best players in America on the men's and women's side, 3 finalists for each. And someone is going to walk away with the Herman Trophy, college soccer's oldest and most prestigious award. And we're going to have a round table. I'll be talking to Alexi Lawless, John Harkes, and Brad Friedel about, among other things, their experience with the 1994 World Cup, a 2-1 victory over Colombia at the Rose Bowl that year, and so much more. The Missouri Athletic Club celebrating soccer, the World Cup, college soccer, and everything else, all culminating with the January 9th event at the Missouri Athletic Club's Missouri Room downtown, the Herman Trophy. There are still a few tickets available if you want to grab some. mac-stl.org.
Leave all the 2025 dirt and celebrate the new year with our friends from Zero Res. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hard surfaces, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified, so it's time to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google, bringing in the new year with 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 plus a free hallway. Take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the KMOX special 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
It's 8:30. We head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with an update from Roger Brand.
Well, Megan, we still have heavy traffic. In fact, northbound 270 is bumper to bumper at 44 up through Big Bend. We had an incident reported there. There was a stall reported at Manchester. That's already in the shoulder. Once you get past Big Bend, though, it's still heavy all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 64 still a backup through the Chesterfield Parkways. Slow to Mason, slow McKnight to Big Bend. South 170 only really at Brentwood now. That's better. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley is the slowest part on that run. Eastbound 70 has thinned out. Northbound 55 barely a slowdown approaching Weber, and westbound 64 just a little heavy on the Poplar downtown right now. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, looks like we're going to have sunny skies. It'll be warm today, a high of 64. We have sunny skies right now, 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. Just last week, I read a story about another local brewery closing, and I wanted to see if this is just a correction in the microbrewery market or if the market is really in some kind of decline. So let's talk with KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz. He's a professor in the Chaffetz School of Business at St. Louis University, and of course, he is our KMOX business analyst. Jerry, what's your take on this?
Well, thanks for coming. I mean, professors are known for their beer drinking, and I'm probably no exception. But your feeling was absolutely on target. If we want to think about it, St. Louis has gone through 3 different generations of beer drinking in the past, really in the past 15 years. So if we're going back 10, 15 years, that was the boom time. We had a tremendous number of breweries opening up. What was driving it were the millennials, the folks 25 to 34 at that time, were into a different kind of beer. They wanted craft beer, local, bitter, high levels of alcohol. And it was a status symbol. So we had this boom in breweries here in town. 5 years ago, 2021, pandemic. And basically everyone's staying home. That put all of these breweries into survival mode. Some of them started packaging 4-packs, and you could get those in the local groceries. Others basically created outdoor spaces to attract and keep customers coming back. But it was at the beginning of the tough times, and probably, if we're looking for a single point of say, when do we think it was really changing? When White Claw hard seltzer started getting made in St. Louis, that was a direct challenge to, will the old-fashioned beers survive? Today, we're looking at what you might call the great beer correction. It's kind of survival of the fittest. Closures are outpacing openings. Closures in the past year: Trailhead, Schlafly, Ferguson, Steampunk, Wellsprout, Arch Nemesis, Earthbound, all of those closed. What's causing this? Well, we're talking $8 to $9 for a beer. 4-packs are $16. The fact is that the younger generation, Gen Z, bless their hearts, they invented a whole new term. They call it zebra drinking. They will have a alcoholic drink and then water or a non-alcoholic drink and alternate that through the night. So even when they're out drinking, they're drinking less and they're more likely to drink fancy cocktails. So we've been seeing a lot of closures of breweries.
Jerry, thank you for your insight on this.
Glad to be of help.
That is Jerome Katz, professor in the Chaffetz School of Business at St. Louis University, and our KMOX business analyst joining us this morning here on KMOX.
Have a great week.
Experience a celebration of movement and music as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis Dance Theater join together for Stravinsky and Debussy Music and Motion. This adventurous collaboration reimagines Stravinsky's Pulcinella Suite in an entirely new way that celebrates powerful partnerships between dance and music. January 10th and 11th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
American Airlines will begin offering free high-speed Wi-Fi starting this month, but there is a catch. You have to be a member of its loyalty program. The carrier plans to complete the rollout on nearly all flights by early spring through a partnership with AT&T. American has been working on an overhaul to its operations. Checking on your money, stocks have been on a tear. You can see it in your 401k. But this morning, the S&P 500 is coming off yesterday's record high. Futures are little changed. But any money you're making is going out the door with the surging cost of electricity. Power prices have been climbing at well above the pace of overall inflation. As a result, utility bills are eating up a bigger chunk of consumer budgets. The rush to build power-hungry artificial intelligence data centers is widely seen as one reason why electricity is getting more expensive. The government forecasts that residential power costs will rise more than 4% this year, adding to last year's jump of almost 5%. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti Refillable Rambler is here. Don't miss your chance to get the only reusable drinkware with exclusive in-and-out privileges at Energizer Park. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to guarantee you get yours by the home opener on February 21st and join St. Louis City in their mission to reduce waste on match day and every day.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA for years, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, January 22nd or Tuesday, the 27th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may offer tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with their qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
8:40, time for another check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still some heavy traffic, Megan, and on eastbound 44, you have an unexpected jam. This traffic reports the service of S&L Coins, a stalled tractor trailer they're working with. They have the right lane blocked for it, eastbound 44 near Barry. That's why you're bogged down at Lindbergh right now on eastbound 44. North 270 approaching 44, still slow all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 64 is still a little busy between Clarkson and Timberlake, east of Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170 slows down at Brentwood. Westbound 64, a brief backup Hampton to Clayton Skinker, then it's slow to Hanley. And I'm also seeing work zone delays now eastbound 44, Hampton to Kings Highway. Again, those two right lanes will be closed there through 6:30 tonight. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
Should be a pretty day today, mostly sunny and warm, a high of 64. Increasing clouds tonight with a low of 48. And then tomorrow we may see some rain at times, but it looks like we're going to have another balmy day, a high around 65. Right now, sunny skies, 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Let's look ahead to what could be some of the biggest lawsuits of this new year, plus try to answer a couple of international legal questions this morning with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Young & Kaiser. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
So artificial intelligence was in the news completely in 2025.
Yes, it was.
But now it's probably going to be in the courts even more, not just for some of the copyright issues that we've discussed, but also when it comes to how AI is used to do things like set prices and on issues of privacy. So what are you seeing that may be coming in this new year?
Well, Megan, I'm seeing about 4 different types of cases that I think will define how we handle AI legally in 2026. For example, there is an algorithmic price-setting antitrust suit regarding rental pricing software. Rental companies use a particular type of software, and they all coordinate all of the pricing and cost per square feet. And so plaintiffs are alleging that even though it's algorithmic AI software, that it amounts to price fixing. So we're going to see whether that works like that. Another thing is the AI training when it comes to coding. Lots of AI is used today for coding software, but the AI itself learns how to code software based upon reading open source coding that's available on the internet. So the plaintiffs are alleging that that violates the Digital Millennium Copyright Act because, in essence, AI is reading and learning from somebody else's code. There's a lot of mass tort claims regarding social media is designed to get kids addicted to social media. So the question is going to be, are those algorithms detrimental and causing harm in our kids? And if so, can kids or parents sue for that? And then finally, there's also with video games, whether video games are addictive. And if they are, does the AI designed software in video games create damages upon which people can sue? Those are going to really define how we handle AI in 2026 legally.
Brad, the big story this week to start the year was the U.S. raid on Venezuela and the arrest of President Nicolas Maduro. I'm wondering what legal questions you have about what's happening right now.
Well, there's a lot of legal questions, Megan. And what's interesting, though, is that this is following a pattern of prior precedent. So we kind of already know how the courts are going to do this. For example, when the U.S. invaded Panama in 1989 and captured Manuel Noriega, he essentially raised several defenses that the courts have resolved. He said that he's a head of state, so therefore he can't be taken forcibly from his country. He also argued that because it was done by the military and not the police, that it was an unlawful arrest. And he also alleged that he had immunity as a diplomat because he was a head of state. And the courts in the Noriega case dismissed all of those arguments under U.S. law, stating that the manner wasn't relevant, that the government did not recognize Noriega as the legitimate head of state, and the manner in which he was arrested is irrelevant when it comes to whether or not the person is or is not guilty of the charges that are alleged. Well, all of those fit perfectly with right now what we're seeing with Maduro in Venezuela. And so I think a lot of those issues will be resolved in favor of the U.S. government. The question is whether there's evidence that Maduro was heading up a crime syndicate regarding the transportation and manufacturing and distribution of drugs. We haven't seen any evidence on that, so that's going to be the weak link at this point based upon the evidence we've seen.
We have about a minute left. I guess, one of the other lingering questions is, can the U.S. legally run Venezuela, which the Trump administration has said they will be pulling some of the strings there?
Well, again, let's go back and look at what happened in Panama. There was a very short period of time in Panama after Manuel Noriega was forcibly removed from the country, where the U.S. was kind of managing how things were operating in Panama. But the key and the linchpin there is that the U.S. said there will be free and open elections in which the U.S. was not involved with those elections. And that's how it worked in Panama. We don't know how it's going to work in Venezuela because we haven't seen any details. But if we see the Trump administration only running the country to such extent to allow for free and open elections, then I believe that would also be upheld by the courts as an appropriate use of federal power.
Brad, always good to talk with you.
My pleasure.
That is KMOX legal analyst Brad Young. We talk to him every Wednesday morning on Total Information AM.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. People impacted by contamination from the Manhattan Project have already received millions of dollars through the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act called RECA. I reached out to Dawn Chapman, co-founder of Just Moms STL, for an update. We had spoken right when the application process opened for people to try to get a share of some of the RECA money. Where do things stand right now?
So we're really happy to report, as of right now, almost $24 million has been paid to St. Louisans impacted by the Manhattan Project by the RECA legislation. So a lot of people are getting their compensation, and boy, is it making a huge difference in their lives.
That seems like that's a lot faster than maybe anyone had anticipated at first.
You know, it is, and we're thrilled about that. But it's also kind of, with the downside, overwhelming the system a bit.
So what do you see happening?
So we see a lot of people applying, and a lot of people, because people are receiving their compensation, their neighbors, their family members, suddenly this program became real and it is paying out. And so people that might have been reluctant or thought, well, maybe this is, a hoax, maybe it's not a real thing, are finding that it is indeed a real program.
So when it comes to people now trying to get their applications in, and I understand there's quite a deadline for them to do that, right? There's plenty of time to get that in.
There is. They have 2 years, and even after that, our hope is that we all work together to reauthorize it and RICA can stay around for St. Louis for longer. But yes, they do have time. There is no rush. However, the line for getting the documentation they need in order to qualify, that is getting longer. That is taking a lot of time to get those documents so that they then can mail them in.
Do you have any concerns that people might be filing frivolously, that they might not actually have a claim and they're holding things up for people who do have a legitimate claim?
That's a great question. And one of the things we're seeing today, as a matter of fact, is I don't know that they're filing frivolously, but they are getting misinformation a lot of times from Chat GPT and Google AI. And it is actually quite alarming, the misinformation coming out from AI that people are then using because they think they qualify when they actually do not.
Wow. So what kind of false information are people getting that you're hearing about?
So I was actually sitting with my co-founder, Karen, maybe 30 minutes ago, and we were both on our phones typing different questions in. Things like, for instance, typing in a question, is renal cancer one of the cancers? Is this cancer? And it's given different information. And sometimes it's saying yes when something is truly not included. And sometimes it's alluding to the fact that it might be different zip codes. And it really is alarming. We are just encouraging people to go to the Department of Justice's RICA website. That is where you're going to find the correct information.
Now, I know you've been doing a lot to try to help people navigate this process, and there is a meeting coming up. Tell us what help people will get at that meeting.
So the meeting coming up is for help and just questions about filling out the application. We cannot get you the documents that you need, but we can help you learn where to go for those documents. And we can also help sit with you and understand the questions on the application and what needs to be filled out and what they're actually asking. So that's what we're going to do. We have over 80 people signed up, though, pre-registered for that event, at 6 o'clock at the Bridgeton Trails Library. And walk-ins are welcome, but we do encourage you to register since we already have so many.
Now, if I remember from our initial conversation, some of the documents, you have to make sure you get them in a proper way so that they will be accepted.
That's correct. So these documents have to either be originals or certified copies of originals that have a seal on them. As you can imagine, the federal government just wants to make sure that that's a copy of a real document and not something somebody printed off on their computer. And so, there's a level of proof required with these documents that sometimes it can be a barrier. It can be difficult. But we have resources on our website, RICAMissouriResources.com. They can reach out to us at Just Moms STL, and we can guide them to where they can go to order those documents.
Now, you mentioned the payouts so far. When it comes to the maximum amount, is there any cap on this for people in this region?
So the cap is $50,000 if you are currently ill. That's what you can apply for and receive tax-free. However, if your spouse has passed away or one of your parents has passed away, you are able to apply for them even though they're no longer with us. And the cap on that for somebody that has already passed away is $25,000. And again, it is tax-free. It is being deposited into the accounts. And, a lot of people, as you can imagine, who are currently ill, they're using that money to pay off medical debt or, in many cases, try and extend their life, try and get into additional medical trials that are not covered under insurance, things like that. And so, we just had a person reach out. They were able to pay a large balance on their utility bills.
That's Dawn Chapman, co-founder of Just Moms STL. 21 zip codes across St. Louis City, County, and St. Charles County, On that list of RECA eligible locations, and that meeting tonight again is at Bridgeton Trails Library Branch, 5 until 8 p.m. They are recommending pre-registration.
The High Point Drive-In announces it's closing 3 locations. We'll chat with George Mahey, dining editor of St. Louis Magazine. Plus, Matt Egan, business reporter for CNN, on why gas prices may be going down and dry January, yes or no. It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
There is a cost to being cheap. Wealth advisor Craig Bolano says that with some products, the lowest price could cost you in money and time over the long run.
You can't afford to be chasing repairs. You can't afford to be chasing this deal or that to save a buck.
He says you should look for quality and value, not just in goods, but services as well.
It comes down to unlocking value.
I'm Rob Hart.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 11th and get your application fee waived. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes